Hey everybody, Jamie Starr here. Today I'm going to talk about Avengers Endgame, and I will just say spoiler warning, I'm not going to even think about, you know, dancing around it. I'm here to talk about the movie. So if you haven't seen it and, don't want to hear about what happens in it, turn this off now. So, first thing to say in general, the entire movie I felt like was fan service to all the other movies. It was essentially a giant MCU circle jerk. Like, there was just 3 hours of callbacks and Easter eggs, and I mean, I don't even know. I'm gonna do a handful of videos right now, and it's like between this and the stuff about the Sonic movie and stuff, I'm really just grossed out and disgusted by a lot of this. And like when I read these articles about there not being enough gay representation in Endgame, even though there like wasn't any in any other of the movies. But then the fact that the Russo brothers go out of their way to even one of themselves play a gay character in the movie, and then for all these people to be such ingrates and just ungrateful about it and be like, well, there isn't enough. And it's like, okay, now that there is some, well, now they're going to up the demand level. And if this is the game they want to play, have fun. Like, have fucking fun. And it's all gonna be trash. This movie, it's like, I don't even like. It's a waste of time. I've seen it because I've seen it probably 4 times because I work an overnight job with the TV. So I'll just throw it on to have something on in the background and then nap through it. But it's ridiculous. And part of it was, one of the things I want to get into just right off the bat is it conned a couple of us into seeing Captain Marvel, because let me see if I can remove this real quick. If we look here, Captain Marvel, we were told, was introducing the Skrulls and the Kree, and here we see articles from March. Captain Marvel, what Skrulls and Kree mean after Endgame. Could Captain Marvel's Skrulls return after Thanos? Skrulls will have an important role in Endgame. Everyone was swearing. There were all of these theories. Seven Avengers who are probably Skrulls in Avengers Endgame. Marvel theories. The Skrulls will have an important role in Avengers Endgame. And between this and this stuff about the Sonic movie and the body proportions and all of that, fuck, I feel like I might as well just merge these two topics into one video. But I really, at this point, like, it makes me think about before the internet and when newspapers existed. Anyone remember a newspaper? There used to be these things that would show up on your doorstep every morning, and it would be a pile of papers and with, actual journalists who would actually write things, but the space was limited. So you couldn't really waste, things. Like, I even saw an article, I was watching a thing about the quartering today, and fucking people complaining now about Ronda Rousey, about, remarks she made a decade ago and stuff like that. And even in one of the articles, there's a whole fucking paragraph about this girl's MMA training personally and how she looked up to Ronda Rousey, but because Ronda Rousey once made a remark that now it's problematic for... Go fuck yourself. Like, in the days of newspapers, you would not have a job because no one cares about you. That's simple. It is because there's this unlimited space of dribble, there is an endless amount of dribble. It's that simple. And it's like, I just want it to fucking stop. Like, it's just endless content about nothing. Like, I mean, the idea that a magazine or a newspaper or anything, that any of this Skrulls in the movie, there were no Skrulls in the movie. Now, I will say, Avengers Endgame, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. spoiler reveals it does a major. I mean, it's the endless theories that lead to nowhere, that have no bearing on the product whatsoever, because these people are putting out content for clicks, which equal dollars, so that they can keep their fires a burning. That's what it is. All of these sites, all of these YouTubers, all of these journals have a fire burning, and they just have to endlessly throw shit at it to keep it going. And that's what fuels the outrage machine. And that's what fuels all of this cultural nonsense. And, you know, adults complaining about the character rendering in a kid's movie. And it's like, I just want it all to stop. Really. So anyway, back to Avengers. First off, there was one thing I was very happy about. And that was Scarlet Witch taking it to Thanos. Because as far as the badass female characters in the Marvel Universe, Scarlet Witch is it. As far as in regards to the comics. I don't know if anyone's aware of the House of M storyline, but I mean, her and Professor X combined basically rewrote reality. Like, she is the Infinity Gauntlet in a person. So, the idea that, you know, she's just sort of silent, and I understand she's a newer character, she's gonna get her own series with Vision, I think, but I don't even know why they're bothering with that, especially because he died, so I don't know how they're fitting it into the timeline with continuity and all that, but there was a scene where she was taking it to Thanos, but that leads up to the scene I'm about to show you guys, where she's taking it to Thanos. Thanos is having his armor ripped off of him. And then he says, you know, rain fire to one of the other guys. And, you know, the other guy responds, but our troops. And Thanos just says, I don't care. Just start shooting missiles down. So he starts blowing everything up. You know, the ship's just raining down fire in an attempt to stop Scarlet Witch from ripping him limb from limb with her powers. And I mean, that's the whole thing. Everyone's doing comparative. Oh, well, Thor compared to Captain Marvel. Fuck that. Scarlet Witch compared to Captain Marvel. Scarlet Witch would destroy Captain Marvel. I don't care how much flying around through space you fucking gotta do. And the other thing is, Scarlet Witch's powers are hers. They messed with the, you know, thing where they sort of had it like Hydra, you know, gave her and her brother the powers, or they were working on them or something, you know, the twins or whatever they called them. They're Magneto's kids. They're mutants. That's all it is. They can't say that because of the Fox Disney, the whole, you know, legality thing, so they can't technically have mutants. She's a mutant. Magneto's kid. That's how it is in the comics. End of story. She's more powerful than all of them. So anyway, rain down fire. Captain Marvel comes, flies through the ship. Let me get these out of here. And then you get this scene, which I hope I don't get a copyright strike. I don't even think... I mean, it's all of like 7 seconds. Should I take the risk and show it? I think I will. Okay, so... After all that, Peter Parker's got the glove. Everyone's been blown up. All the men, you know, are knocked down and everything. So then Captain Marvel grabs the glove and he's like, I don't know how you're going to get it to the time machine, you know, on your own. And then out of nowhere, because, you know, all missiles only affect men, the Vagina Squad shows up. And here you see all of the female characters lined up, and then they're about to run into battle against the entire army of, you know, Thanos's evil minions that he was just a second ago worried that they were going to get blown up, but magically when the Vagina Battle Squad shows up, they're ready to rumble. So, let's get that out of the scene and put this back up. So, at that point, you know, my partner who I was watching the movie with was just like, can we leave? And if there was a point to walk out, that would have been it. And then the rest of it's just kind of very blah from there, you know, except if you're like emotionally, I don't know, like I'm seeing these articles, oh, we cried when Tony Stark died. I don't know. I think I'm just over all of this. I really am. I am over this whole Arrested Development stuff. Like, there's a part of me that appreciates it, but there's a part of me that's a bigger part of me that is just over a lot of it. Um, but back to my point about the outrage and the whole cultural thing. With the Russo brothers and the representation stuff and everything like that, like, you know, that's them doing feminist service, you know, not even fan service, but it's, you know, for all the shit journalists to be like, they showed the women. There were women. Women, women, battle women, fighting women. Like, it's just, see, I can't even. It is such garbage. Such garbage. And you know how this ends. All right, let's follow this to its logical conclusion. So they want women in Avengers, and you know, you can't have enough women and enough representation until the men are completely out of there. So we'll have Avengers Vagina Squad. Well, you know, but then what about the blacks? Well, we need to have Black Panther start up the Negro Avengers. So, you know, we'll have the Women Vagina Squad, Negro Avengers, and then, you know, we need the trans disabled Avengers. So we'll have, you know, trans disabled Avenger Squad, and then, you know, people like Brie Larson, like, I'm sure she'd complain if a white man was sitting in on the female Vagina Squad Avengers movie, because it's not made for them. It's made for the female Vagina Avenger fans to watch. So, I mean, it's basically its end result to the absolute insanest conclusion is segregation. And this is the path they want to go down. And I don't know. I'm just not interested anymore. As far as all this stuff goes, I can say I have completely no drive to see Spider-Man Far From Home now. Like, it is just sucked out of me. Like, I am over it. I don't even give a shit anymore. So, that's my feeling about Endgame. Way to take the past 10, 12 years or so and just flush it down the tubes. That's what they did. And I mean, I understand what they were trying to do. They were trying to wrap it all up with a nice little bow, but you know, as much as I think he's a obnoxious little Jew cuck, Ben Shapiro does a really good breakdown of Avengers and how what a disservice they really did to all of the characters in it. Whether it was turning Thor into some fat Big Lebowski, pathetic, afraid of everything character, or, you know, Tony Stark being like, oh, time travel's a joke. I'm not gonna, you know, I'm not gonna help you guys. I got this kid here, but, well, 5 minutes of tinkering around on my hollow table and I figured it out. I mean, it's just ridiculous. And, you know, Captain America's very blah in it, and I don't know. Again, to agree with Ben Shapiro, the only two characters they really gave an arc to, or a good arc, or, I mean, it really is like the only ones they gave an arc to, was Black Widow and Hawkeye, or Ronin in this movie, even though he's never referred to as that. Um, Other than that, you could go without seeing it. It's such a long movie that I wouldn't recommend it to anyone. I would just say save your money, don't waste your time. I mean, it's it's really like these past two have felt sort of like obligations, like, and it's not good. I understand why I think the Russo brothers know that too. I think that's why they're taking kind of a bit of a break after Spider-Man Homecoming, because it's just getting worn out. Like, You know, it's essentially, even with, see, and this is the problem with tying all these characters together and having this be in one universe. Video games are having the same problem, where it's like you have these companies and these publishers that think that they need a new title every year. But because this is the MCU and they have so much stuff to work with, we're not getting one every year. Every year would almost be welcome. We're getting 2 or 3 a year. And it's like, now that they're intertwined, it's just this never-ending shit where it's like you feel obligated to watch it. So I'm good. I'm glad it's over. Because I am over it. And that's about all I have to say on this.